Whether you're brand new to the Vanguard community or if you've been around for quite some time, you've probably been hearing lots of talking about this Spring Fest. Spring Fest Online is basically Bushiroad's way of looking at the current situation with the global pandemic and seeing that we can't have in-person events, and recognizing that fact and putting up a large-scale event for Vanguard as well as its other games online. Normally, Springfest is a really fun offline event where people go to various locations all over the world and play, usually in a team format or just a more casual format in general, where you fight for different, all kinds of prizes like playmats, pins, medals, cards, and things like that. However, this year, in order to compromise for the fact that we can't have in-person events due to the pandemic, they're using Remote Fight to actually hold this event. So for the new players, I think I should explain what even is Remote Fight. Remote Fight is quite literally being able to play your favorite card games from the comfort of your own home using a webcam. So basically you take your webcam, like here we go, I have my little webcam here, you point it down at your little table where you play your card games on. It doesn't have to be a webcam. There's plenty of apps that turn your phone into a webcam, like I think for Android there's like Droid Cam and things like that. And you essentially play with another person that has the same type of setup, just your typical game of Vanguard, whether that's Premium or Overdress or V Premium or any other game like Weiss. And so Bushiroad Springfest Online essentially allows players to play in a tournament for each format. So they have for Vanguard, they have, Premium, then they have Overdress Standard, the new standard, and then V Premium, and then they also have Weiss as well as the final tournament for Buddy Fight as well in the final weekend. This is also the first big large-scale event ever since BCS 2019. It's been basically a year and a half since our last big events, and so for a lot of the competitive crowd, this is something really exciting. This is something people have been waiting for, and last year felt like a gap in the timeline of competitive events in general, not just for Vanguard, but for many card games. This is also the first big Western competitive event since Overdress has launched, and actually almost globally, because even Japan hasn't really been able to host any big events yet due to the pandemic and the state of emergencies. And so because of that, it's going to be really exciting to see how the first big event from Overdress will actually shape the meta as well. It's also even possible to play in the events of other regions. So for example, let's say you are in Europe, right? So in Europe, you sign up for the, let's say, Overdress tournament, the standard one in Europe, which starts at 10 a.m. And then let's say you play through it, and then you notice that you're not doing too hot. Maybe you lost like 3 or 4 times, and you're like, okay, you know what? I'm going to drop out here. And then if you signed up for, let's say, the North American standard tournament, you can play in that one afterwards, which will start at 9 a.m. PST. And then you have another shot of trying to win the fabulous prizes. And speaking of prizes, they definitely look very amazing for this time as well. Typically, big Vanguard events have exclusive promo cards as winners prizes, and this time they're bringing cards that never released in English, because these are Japanese VMC, which are Vanguard Masters Cup promos, which released if you won the entire thing. So there's very few copies in the world and they're very expensive, and in English this will be kind of similar, because as you can see for standard, for Overdress, you win this exclusive King of Knights Alfred. So of course this is from the V series, you don't play it in your standard deck, but these are more like prize cards. They're not really meant for play, they're more meant to be just like put on as a trophy and basically just displayed for the world to see. For V and Premium, it's that beautiful Dragonic Overlord as well. So these are both super exclusive prizes, and so if you do win one, you definitely have to cherish it and keep it safe. So now you might, start getting interested and wonder, how do you actually sign up for this event? Well, let's take a look. So here we find ourselves on the official Bushiroad website for the BSF 2021, which is Bushiroad Springfest Online. And so here when you go to the BSF Online tab, you will see all of the information you need. So there's an introduction telling you which dates the events are actually happening in. So it's starting from this weekend for Vice and Premium, and then 5th and 6th of June will be for Overdress as well as for V Premium, and the third weekend is for Buddy Fight. So you can see here the entire structure, the maximum participation caps, and things like that. Here you see the schedule of how things will go, and on the schedule tab you'll actually find the pre-registration link. So you can see here that for Vice and Premium they're already closed, so those closed last Monday, but right now at the time of making this video you can sign up for Overdress Standard as well as V Premium. So of course the cards that use Overdress cards that just released, as well as V Premium, which is the cards that use the V era. And so here you'll be able to go to whichever region you want to sign up for and basically click the sign up link, and then you can, after joining, you can join one of the Discords as well to make sure that you're up to date, because also a lot of these events will be using Discord as a communication tool and also as your tables in which you will play on. And so here you'll be able to see the actual form here. So of course, you know, they have the general rundown of everything and the link to the Discord for that region. So here I'm trying to sign up for the standard one for Europe. So here when we actually scroll down, we can write down our email here to actually, you know, which one we're going to be participating with so that they can stay in touch with us. So let's just put down my business email here. Discord name. This one's pretty easy. You just have to write your Discord name with little numbers. So mine is Yoroshiku if you read it out. Then you write your full name here. So, you know, you just write your actual full name. So there we go. We get that. Which clan are you playing? So of course, this will say clan, you know, for the V Premium and Premium formats. This should say nation for Overdress, but that's fine anyway. Let's just say I'm signing up with Dragon Empire. And then you have to upload your deck list as a PDF file. This is actually a pretty easy step. You basically just want to open up this PDF in another tab or download it and then fill it out. And so how this works is that you can actually skip quite a few of these tabs, like event location, tournament, date, badge number. You can basically skip on those. You just need to write your player name. So, you know, for example, my name here, clan. So of course, let's just write down Dragon Empire, deck name, Verina Stonks. And then when you're filling out this actual ride deck, we can actually zoom in a little bit here. You want to basically take the card that you're writing. So for example, let's write down the Nirvana here. So we're going to take and look at the name first, right? So the name of Nirvana is Chakrabarti Divine Dragon Nirvana. The quantity in the ride deck is 1. The grade is 3. And the card number, which you'll find here at the bottom left of the card, says DSDO1/001. So D-SDO1/001. And just like that, you got your first card. And so you repeat that for your entire deck list, writing down the quantities. So, you know, for your remaining like copies of this, you know, you can also copy paste sometimes. Like, of course, I play 3 more Nirvanas in my main deck. So you're just going to copy paste some of the elements and just kind of, you know, get them in here and there. So just like that, it's very easy. When you write down triggers, you don't have to write like draw trigger. You can just write draw or critical or heal, you know, things like that. Keeps it a bit easier. And so overall, the deck list registration is pretty simple. You here just have to write down like your name for the signature, and that's it. And then once you're done with that, you just add the file to the registration form, click submit down here, and that's it. You're in for the tournament. As long as you sign up before the player cap, you will be put into the tournament automatically. If you sign up after the player cap has been hit, you'll be put into a wait list, and then basically just get put into the tournament if anybody that is already in the tournament doesn't show up when the tournament starts. And don't forget to join the Discord of the tournament so you can actually be updated of any information and get your questions answered if you have any by the actual tournament organizers. All right, so you signed up, but how does the tournament actually work? So once you sign up to the tournament, what will happen is that on the day of the tournament, you'll have to check in. On the website, it says the check-in time. Once you are checked in, then you will be actually in for the tournament. If you miss the check-in, then somebody from the waitlist will take your space, so make sure you don't miss it. Then you will be put into the bracket where you'll basically have different opponents every single round. And usually this pairings bracket will show who your opponent is and the table number that you sit at. And on the Discord of the tournament, there will be different table numbers, and you simply join, you know, just join the voice channel and turn on your camera and play. And then you play through what's called the Swiss rounds, where you basically just like play as many rounds as there are without being knocked out, even if you lose all of them. And then the players with the best points, so the players that won the most, will proceed to the top 8 cut. And then from top 8, you proceed until the finals to win some of those fabulous prizes that we talked about earlier. Now you might also be wondering, what is actually a good remote fight setup? There's a lot of regulations, there's a lot of rules, do's and don'ts. You know, they say what you need is, you know, a computer or a laptop with a microphone and a webcam, a Discord account, as well as a deck of cards to play with. Some rules they say is that all hand cards need to be on the screen at all times, as well as all these zones like your deck, drop zone, damage zone, guardian circle, you know, rearguard circles, etc. need to all be visible at all times to the camera, and generally just have an ideal camera setup which they show with a picture. Alright, so here let me show you how I set up for remote fight. I play remote fight very frequently with my friends, as well as my local group, as well as like my teammates. Just in general, remote fight is like one of the main ways that I play Vanguard these days, because it's just really nice to play with physical cards. So of course I have my deck of cards here. So what we're gonna do is, let's say like this is for Overdress, right? I'm gonna put my ride deck, you know, we're gonna have our starter, put it face down here in the Vanguard circle. And I guess the right deck we can just put somewhere, like it doesn't really matter where you put it, we can put it on top. I'm gonna actually remove my camera here so you guys just see the setup here. So just like this. Now, of course, we're gonna shuffle our deck. Make sure that when you're shuffling, your cards are always visible. So for shuffling, you really have to make it visible at all times to the camera that shuffling is happening. Very, very important. No shuffling off screen because that will, of course, be pretty dodgy for your opponent. So just make sure you always shuffle on screen. So then, you know, you can shuffle as you wish. It's all good. But then before you proceed any further, you have to split your deck into 3 piles for your opponent to cut. So what you will do is tell your opponent which of these is numbered, right? So say 1, 2, 3, and then your opponent will go and say something like, okay, can you put that into 2, 1, 3, please? So you go 2 on top of 1, on top of 3, and just like that, your deck is now cut, so you're ready to start the game, right? So far, all of my zones are very visible to the camera, right? So now I'm going to draw my 5 cards. So let's see here, we get a perfect 5. My hand is always visible on the camera as well. So when I take it into hand, you want to have a good angle, right? You don't want to show your hand like this because then your opponent will see it all the time. Always hold it a bit of an angle so that way that you're, you know, you can still see it yourself, but you're not showing it to your opponent, but your hands are actually on field. And if you ever have to move your hands away, like let's say I want to get a drink, you know, get some water, you know, I'm going to put my hand down like this so my hand cards are always visible, and I'm just going to drink my water here. You know, you need to scratch your nose or anything, it's completely fine, of course, understandable. So, but make sure your hand cards are always on the field and visible. So then, you know, after the game starts, all your damage zone, for example, has to be completely visible no matter what. You know, maybe like glare with some lights if that happens. I'm using my webcam here, not my actual proper camera that I use for filming. You know, if you have glare and stuff, you gotta make sure that if your opponent asks what a card is, you have to always tell them, you know, this card is that, you know, how many cards are in damage, always specify those kind of things. And you can also, of course, just turn off that light and then suddenly the glare isn't as bad. The quality might not look as good, but it's still quite visible and perfectly fine. You know, also make sure that like all cards on rearguard circles and whatnot are all visible, you know, and just make sure that everything is perfectly visible at all times. You know, drop zone as well. Some cards have like bind stuff like Alchemagic. Make sure that that is at least somewhat visible. That way all cards are always on the playmat and in the camera's field of view. That is the most important factor of all. If your cards do leave the screen, there's a chance you will get a warning or some kind of more severe punishment. So please be careful not to let your cards leave the screen at any times. Obviously, if you're shuffling and, you know, some cards randomly like slip off the table and stuff like that, it's understandable, but you'll probably get a warning for that too. So make sure you're extra careful on the tournament day itself. And that's basically how this entire process works. So I really recommend that all of you join Springfest online. If you're not able to, there will be a live stream for all regions, for all formats, for all games. So you can always check that out on the official Bushiroad Twitch channels. And so that'll be very exciting because even if you're not able to participate, maybe your cards didn't arrive on time, or maybe you're just not feeling too confident yet, you know, you still want to play test some more, maybe join next time, you can always catch the action live on Twitch. I'll put some links in the description once the actual Twitch channels are shared, so that way everyone can tune in for the exciting fun. Just don't forget to check all the relevant deadlines. So for example, the registration for Overdress Standard as well as for V Premium is closing next Monday at 9 AM CET, so make sure you don't miss that. After that, the signups for Buddy Fight will open up then. Also for deck lists, you know, different organizers handle it differently, so make sure you check in with them as well if you have to make any changes last minute. Also, if you're still not sure on some of the do's and don'ts when it comes to playing in Springfest Online, you can check out Bushiroad's video on their sort of etiquette when it comes to Springfest Online. I also was part of that video as a sort of cameo guest, so you can go give it some love. I'd also greatly appreciate it. So if you still have any questions, go check out that video. But anyway, that's gonna be it for me today. Hope you guys enjoyed today's video and hope you have a great time at Springfest because I'm definitely super looking forward to it. This has been at the back of my mind and also like some of my main focus these last few months, honestly. Like ever since they announced it, me and my playtesting circle were just like, all right, we gotta go crazy, we gotta go play test and like get good and make sure that we can top after all this time. So hopefully you guys are feeling similarly because it's going to be a very exciting series of weekends. Anyway folks, that's gonna be it for me today. Thank you so much for watching and I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.